Welcome back to Football Daily, where you guessed it, we're predicting the entire World Cup. Sweating. That's right, the World Cup is just days away, and I'm starting to fizzle. I'm starting to bubble under the surface with World Cup fever. I've really put some effort into the set deck. You know, that sticker album and a flag. That took some time. Anyway, today in front of me, I have a World Cup predictor simulator kind of thing, where I put each team in the relevant slot in a group. I then go through to the round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, final, and predict a winner and tell you my reasons why I've placed each team where I have. It's very obvious, guys. I'm sure you've watched 4 or 5 of them by now. It's time for mine. Let's start in Group A then, where I just don't see any result other than the Netherlands topping this. I think Louis van Gaal is a really, really special manager when it comes to tournament scenarios. I remember back to him at 2014 when he was kind of getting berated for playing such a defensive formation. You know, the Dutch have quite an iconic style of play classically, and he kind of went against that a little bit. I just think he knows how to get results in big tournaments, and I think the depth the Dutch possess in defence is one of the best in the entire tournament, to be honest with you. The ability to leave Sven Botman at home is crazy. It is actually crazy. If Depay can score goals, they can go really deep. I'm going to go Netherlands to top the group. I think Senegal still second, despite the fact Sadio Mane is likely to miss a couple of games with injury. Fingers crossed we do see some of him, because this is, of course, their golden generation. AFCON winners. They deserve to go deep in this competition, but I worry for them without Sadio Mane. I'm going to presume that they have got Sadio Mane, just because I want to put it out there. The positive energy that Sadio Mane plays some football at the World Cup. Between Qatar and Ecuador, I actually think it's a lot closer than people give it credit for. You know, Qatar have had months of training camps now. They are the most well-prepped of any of the international sides coming into this. A lot of the other sides will be picking up players on 4 or 5 days' notice. Qatar have had a lot of their team together for weeks now. So Qatar could well slip into third, but it don't really matter, does it? I think it'll probably be Ecuador and Qatar fourth. In Group B, I'm wearing them. I've got the flag up. I'm backing the boys to top the group. I do think that we should be comfortably winning this group. If it's not comfortable, then it is poor, because it's one of the easier groups available to us, if we're being real here, isn't it? With the firepower we've got, we should be blowing some of these teams away. Anyway, let's go on from England, because the second place spot is a really tight call. It is a really tight call. You know, USA, I think, would be a lot of people's favourites in there, but you know how Greg Berhalter's got them playing? I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced as to why he doesn't play a 10 to start with. Get Brendan Aronson or Gio Reyna in the hole, surely. But whatever. He's going to play a 4-3-3, isn't it? And, you know, I don't think the Americans particularly like him. He's quite pragmatic. And if he fails here, I think he probably loses his job. There's enough talent in that team, man. You know, Musa, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams in midfield, Brendan Aronson, Gio Reyna. The issue I've kind of got with them, I think they lack centre-backs. I think they lack a striker. And for that reason, I think Wales get through the group. I mean, they've got through the group of their last 2 major international tournaments, the Euros, haven't they? I know they haven't played a World Cup since 1958, but they seem to have something when it comes to group stages of major tournaments where they can just squeeze their way through. I think Kiefer Moore is going to cause some big, big issues for people in this group stage. And again, a little bit like Sadio Mane, this is presuming Gareth Bale's fit. If Gareth Bale's not fit, we'll drop Wales down to third. It's not happening for him. But I think if Gareth Bale's up there, Kiefer Moore's causing difficulties. I think, you know, Dan James, as poor as he has been at times in the Premier League, does cause damage on the international scene with his pace. Brennan Johnson's very exciting. I think there's just more of a togetherness with Wales than the US. So I'm going to put US third. Iran in fourth, but I think that could be tight as well. Wouldn't surprise me if Iran finished second. I think Carlos Queiroz is going to be there to upset a few people. And obviously Iran are going to be all eyes on the USA fixture, so that could be a blockbuster one. But I don't know. It's very, very tight for that second spot in Group B. We'll start with Argentina. Obviously, they're going in first. They are on this ridiculous unbeaten run. I think it's 35 games. I think it's a loss since 2019. They've got to improve on 2018's performance, though, where they went out a round of 16. But Scaloni's got them playing in a certain way that gets the best out of Messi. I think he's got a really good idea of how to get the best out of Messi, and that's all they can do effectively. I think Lautaro Martinez is going to be extremely, extremely dangerous. But there's something about that midfield. You know, the likes of Paredes getting the best out of Lionel Messi by doing a lot of his off-the-ball work. I just think they're going to go extremely deep. I think semi-final is a very realistic, minimum aim for Argentina. I think Poland sneaked through in second ahead of Mexico. I know that Mexico have qualified for every round of 16 from a World Cup since 1994. They're on this amazing record of doing that, but I don't think they've got the firepower. Raul Jimenez hasn't scored an open play goal for Mexico since 2019. I don't think they've got the firepower. I think that this will be the year they actually don't make it out of the groups. I know they've got that amazing record, and then, Saudi Arabia, I think they're probably the worst team in the competition. Moving on to Group D, and this is where I think we might see our first shock. I think Kasper Hjulmand's Denmark might shock France here. They've beaten them twice in the Nations League this year. The midfield is so strong with the likes of Højbjerg and Eriksen in there. I really like Christensen and Andersen at the back as well. I know that Kasper Schmeichel's had a bad season at Nice, which is a bit of a worry for me, as is the form and goals of a player like Kasper Dolberg up front. Where do the goals come from? And can Kasper Schmeichel produce more heroics? Are two big question marks. But I think France have question marks too. I really do. I know they won the Nations League in 2021, but without Kante and Pogba, I think that I would bet that Deschamps lines up with Tchouaméni and Rabiot, not Tchouaméni and Camavinga. I think he is going to want Rabiot in that midfield somewhere. The front three is obviously blockbuster. It's a joke. Benzema, Mbappe, and Griezmann. And if they get going, they are going to top this group. But stranger things have happened, and Denmark are my dark horses for this tournament. I think they can top the group. I really, really do. They shocked teams at Euro 2020. They easily could have beaten England in that semi-final if it hadn't gone to extra time. I think Denmark might shock France as well. I think Tunisia finished third, and then Australia, they've just got so many injury problems, haven't they? 50% of that first 11's got an injury or a fitness issue. I think they finished fourth. So I'm going Denmark, France, Tunisia, and Australia. One of the groups of death then, up next with Group E. I think Costa Rica are going to be really poor. I'm going to put them in fourth. I think they were averaging 39% possession in qualifying, basically saved and qualified for this World Cup because of Keylor Navas. He needs to produce absolute miracles for them to have any hope. Although we've said this about Costa Rica in the past, and they have surprised teams. I think Japan aren't going to get in there either. Some very, very tricky players, Japan, but not got the firepower required to take out one of Spain or Germany for me. And then it is just a straight shootout. It's really difficult. Spain are going to dominate the ball. They just are going to dominate the ball. And we've seen them do that time and time again throughout qualifying for this tournament. They blew every other team in Europe away in terms of passes completed per 90 in qualifying. But they do lack firepower. I just don't know where the goals come from in this Spain team. They also still insist on playing Sergi Busquets in that defensive midfield role, despite the fact they've got Rodri. Puzzle me, that one. And Germany, I know that they haven't been amazing over the last couple of tournaments. In fact, they've been downright awful. But under Hansi Flick, who of course was the assistant manager in 2014 with Joachim Löw when they won it. He was a treble winner. He's got a really strong connection to about 80% of this group because of the Bayern Munich links. I think they can really cause Spain trouble in transition. I really do. And I think Jamal Musiala is going to be my young player of the tournament. I think Germany might go quite deep. His record, Hansi Flick, since he took over, is super impressive. I think it's 15 games, 13 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. I'm going Germany to top the group and Spain to finish second. Group F is another slightly difficult one for me. Belgium's squad I'm really unconvinced about, particularly at the back. Every time I look at it, I think it looks worse. I don't know. I'm worried about Belgium. I really am worried about Belgium. Croatia still have that really strong spine. They do. I'm very torn. This group is a real stab in the dark, I'll be honest with you. Despite the fact I'm unconvinced, they do still have the quality in the midfield for me with KDB. In the forward areas, I'm expecting big things from Romelu Lukaku, despite the fact he's been injured for the last couple of months with Inter Milan. He's got to step up and do something of note at this World Cup, really. Croatia in second. I think Canada might get a little bit of a shock. I know they were very, very impressive in their regional qualifying, but I think when you take it to the World Cup, you're playing much higher level teams. And then I think Morocco in third. Group G, one of the standout groups for me. This is one of the groups I'm most excited about. Yes, Brazil are going to top it. They absolutely are going to top it for me. They are unbelievable to watch at the moment, Brazil. I love the spine. I love the mix of experience and youth and players in their peak. The centre-backs, is that the best pairing at the World Cup? Thiago Silva and Marquinhos? I think it might be. Protected by Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes. Absolutely vile. With the front line that includes the likes of Neymar, Vinicius Jr., Gabby Jesus probably not going to get a look in. You know, Gabriel Martinelli probably not going to get a look in. Rafinha, Antony, obviously taking the most forwards of any team at the World Cup. Brazil are just frightening, man. They're frightening. For me, they are the most exciting team to watch at the World Cup. Another extremely exciting team for me is going in second, Serbia. They finally figured out a way of getting Mitrovic and Vlahovic to play together. You've got a really, really strong midfield with the likes of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Kostic putting balls into a front two of Vlahovic and Mitrovic. Oh, it's filth. Serbia are serious dark horses to go deep in this competition, by the way. Unfortunate for Cameroon, who I'm going to put in third, and Switzerland to be drawn in a group against Brazil and this unreal Serbian side. Group H is also a difficult one to call. I think Uruguay win this. A lot of people at home will be saying Uruguay for their dark horses, and it's very easy to see why when you've got a midfield of Fede Valverde and Rodrigo Bentancur. That's just outrageous. Darwin Núñez bound to have a huge impact on this tournament as well, especially with his runs into the channel to free up space for the likes of Luis Suarez or Edison Cavani. I think it's probably going to be Suarez. So yeah, Uruguay to top the group. Portugal, I'm really worried about. Like I'm considering putting Portugal in third. I really am. The manager, Fernando Santos, just not it anymore, I'm afraid. I don't see it. I think there's problems in that Portugal squad, potentially as well, with Cristiano Ronaldo. Not so much in this off-the-field stuff that people are making a big deal out of. More in the fact that, as it's proved with Manchester United, it's a bit of a struggle to make a forward line work with him. How you press as a unit, how you work off the ball, how you deliver the ball into him is a bit of a struggle. So I can see that being a potential issue. Very surprised Renato Sanchez didn't go. I know that he's not played much at all this season with PSG, but still had a huge impact at the Euros, didn't he? This Ghana team is really good as well with Thomas Partey. And I'm going for that. I'm going Uruguay, Ghana, Portugal out of the groups. They are going to be my flop of the World Cup, Portugal. I know I said Spain in team talk, but subsequently I'm changing my mind. I'm going Portugal flops. I think, you know, Korea are going to be fine, but they've had some really poor results recently. So I'm going Uruguay and Ghana to qualify. Let's move on to the round of 16. All right, we can start to speed up now, can't we? The Netherlands are going to beat Wales. Yeah, I think the Netherlands are really, really strong opposition here. And this is just a super tie already, isn't it? Argentina versus France. Lionel Messi really does need this to cement, you know, his legacy within Argentina. I think he's already renowned globally as one of the greatest players of all time, and in many people's mind, the GOAT. But I think in Argentina, with that legacy Maradona left with World Cups, there is still a bit of friction there. No, he doesn't. He beats them. I think France's midfield will become susceptible, and there's no guarantee that some of their players are going to be fit. You know, Rafa Varane may not get up to speed at any stage throughout this tournament. It's a huge loss for him and for them. So I'm going to go Argentina, sneak through Lionel Messi to do the business. Yeah, Germany beat Croatia. I think Hansi Flick again is going to be really, really troublesome. Brazil are definitely going to beat Ghana, and that sets up a beautiful remake, doesn't it, of the 7-1. It really does. And I think we will come on to that in a bit, actually. We'll come on to that in a bit. But what a remake that'll be. Brazil, Germany, quarterfinal. Yes, please. England, Senegal, very close. Very close. England's squad is fine. I don't think it's the best squad there. I don't think it's the worst. I think it's probably the 5th or 6th best squad at the World Cup. And it really should have enough for Senegal. It should. If we're being honest and we're being completely objective, player for player, England have a better squad than Senegal. So they should be going through in that tie. Denmark versus Poland. I think Denmark get the business done there as well. I really think they are going to be very, very strong. Poland, despite the fact Robert Lewandowski's there, might struggle. You know, Robert Lewandowski, I think, has scored 5 international goals at his last 4 major tournaments. So can he finally start to produce on the World Cup level? We're not sure. Belgium, Spain. I think Spain win that. You know, Belgium as I said earlier, I'm unconvinced about the squad. Spain, I don't think necessarily have the goal scorers to go really deep in the competition, but looking at the run they've got, you know, it's almost favourable to finish second in the Germany group, isn't it? Because then you're not facing Brazil or Argentina, like you're on the other side of the draw, so you almost want to finish second if you're Spain or Germany and sneak your way through like that. Uruguay, Serbia, this is like a battle of... Oh, this is a real battle of the underdogs here. The dark horses. Now, my dark horse is probably a Denmark. I said earlier my flops are Portugal. Dark horse is Denmark. I think Serbia beat Uruguay. I know it's a lot of people like Uruguay. I think this Serbia team is fantastic. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I can see it battering and bruising Uruguay, who are themselves very physical. That will be a proper slugfest. I can imagine Ronald Araujo getting battered in the back by Mitrovic. Vlahovic is coming through. Milinkovic-Savic snapping into Fede Valverde. That'll be a battle, man. Let's go back up to the semi-final, potentially coming up. Argentina beating the Netherlands. The Netherlands defensive unit can only take them so far, in my opinion. If Memphis Depay doesn't fire, then there's too much pressure on Cody Gakpo to score goals. So I'm going Argentina in there. Lautaro Martinez and Messi doing the business. Brazil to get their vengeance on Germany for that 7-1. Neymar to have huge impacts in all of these games. Scoring goals against Ghana, scoring goals against Germany. England-Denmark's a remake of the Euro 2020 semi-final, where England, of course, won on extra time, and England will win that again. Again, pairing the squads up, England absolutely have a better side, both first 11 and depth than Denmark. They should be going out there and dominating the ball against the Danes, and they should be able to beat them. Even though Denmark are very dangerous, extremely well coached, have a very exciting midfield, two great centre-backs, they should be able to turn Denmark over if we're being objective and honest. Spain-Serbia. Spain are going to want to keep the ball, try and feed it in the lines to Morata. But I'm still slightly unconvinced about Eric Garcia and Pau Torres, partner in Laporte. Serbia beating Spain in the quarterfinals. Serbia going deep. I'm telling you, Serbia are going deep. This could come back to bite me in a massive way when they don't make it out of the group. And that is such a favourable draw for England, by the way. If Denmark do top that group ahead of France, obviously if France topped it, they would face England in the quarterfinals. But if Denmark top it, which is very possible, England have such a favourable run. They really do. There's no excuses, man. There's no excuses. Argentina, Brazil. I mean, battle of the ages, battle of the Copa America, which of course Argentina won. Two teams that just are basically unbeatable at the moment. Messi versus Neymar. Neymar out on top. I do think that for me, Neymar's going to win the Golden Ball. I think he's going to also win the Golden Boot. Brazil are going to go extremely deep. I think there's a few candidates for Young Player of the Year in their squad as well. You know, Vinicius Jr., huge candidate. Germany, who I've mentioned going out to Brazil, hold my Young Player of the Year, though, which is Jamal Musiala. If he has big impacts on games, I just can't wait to watch them because he's one of the most exciting young players in Europe to watch. So I'm going Jamal Musiala, Young Player of the Year, but Brazil beat him. Brazil then dominate Argentina. Neymar has a crucial impact. They make it to the final. England, Serbia. I can't believe I've got Serbia at this stage. Surely I should have gone Spain. Do I change this? Do I change this? Serbia can't get to a World Cup semi, man. Mind you, Croatia did. And this Serbia side is very, very special. I'm mixing it up. I'm bottling it. I'm putting Spain in there. England versus Spain. Now, this is a really close tie. Like, Spain have some extremely exciting young players in the midfield. Pedri and Gavi. You know, Pedri, obviously, Euro 2020 Young Player of the Tournament. Gavi himself, Golden Boy, Copper Award. I think it's every chance he is a candidate for the Young Player of the Tournament too. But Busquets, Garcia, the fullbacks, Morata. It's my heart telling me it, I know. It's so biased. But I just think England are better than Spain. I do think England are better than Spain. Let me know what you're thinking here. Have I just lost my mind that England are better than Spain? I just think England's draw is so favourable, man. If that was France there, then I would have said France to beat England, I think. Would I, though? Because then I've said Denmark. Oh, God. My heart's telling me England. England-Brazil final. No, it's going to be Brazil. I just think it's going to be Brazil. I really do. I think Brazil are going to win the World Cup. I think Neymar is going to be top scorer. I think he's also going to win the Golden Ball. I just think the squad is too well balanced. I think there's such a perfect mix of experience and youth, of flair. I think the manager has his tactics spot on, Tite. I just can't look past them. I can't look past Brazil. But who do you think is going to win the World Cup? I've gone for Brazil-England final. Obviously, quite a lot of that was biased based on my heart over my head. I think Denmark are going to go very deep. Denmark and Serbia are my two dark horses, ahead of the likes of Uruguay, Young Player of the Year, Jamal Musiala. Give me all that good stuff in the comments below. Let me know all of those predictions as well in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye.